All right, can everyone see a little presentation now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Wonderful. So welcome everybody to Smart Savings Online. So I'm Katie Churchill, I'm LEAP's lead of engagement and design. And I have with me our co-host Emma Durkin, who's our volunteer manager. And Cecily is, the voice of Cecily is present, but we cannot see her, unfortunately. So we've also got a couple other LEAP staff with us, Kate and Jay, for some support. So again, thanks everyone for joining us. So what we're going to start out with is just a quick, just making sure everyone's familiar with Zoom. So the bottom of your screen should look something like this. If you start getting some background noise in your home, if you could please just click the microphone button in the bottom left so the little red line comes through it. That will just mute you so that we don't hear all the background noise. And if you need to get up and stand up for a minute or you want to turn your video off, you do the same thing to the video button, that will turn it back off. So thanks for being so adventurous and using Zoom. I know this is new for some of us. And we also will be doing a few breakout groups during our meeting today, which means you'll be paired up with some people to answer some questions and have a little chat with each other. But you don't have to do anything for that. Emma's going to handle all of that. So you'll go into breakout rooms with a couple other people and automatically you'll be brought back to the whole group. So there's nothing that you need to do to make that happen. If you have a question that you want to ask at any time, please just wave your hand over your camera so we can see you and Emma will acknowledge you and then we will answer your questions. So first I want to start by just us all going ahead and on our Zoom name, which you can see in little white text that should say your name, we just want to change that to your first name and the town that you're from, so your suburb, just so we get an idea of where everyone's coming from. So the easiest way to do that is if you click the participants button on the bottom of your screen, you should get a little menu that appears with your name. And then you can hover over where it says more and click rename and just name it your first name and where you're from. Alternatively, if you see your own picture, there should be, if you hover in the top right corner, might be 3 little dots and that'll say rename and then you can name yourself there. So what we want to start by first is just in the back of your mind, I'd like you to think about what's one specific cost that you think you'd like to save some money on. This might be anything from insurance or buying more used items than new or grocery shopping or anything of that sort. And so what we'll do right now is, Emma, if you could break us out into groups, we'll put you in groups with a couple other people for about 2 to 3 minutes. 2 minutes is good. We'll just do a quick intro, say who you are, where you're coming from, if you're a learner or a volunteer, and just share what's that cost that you think you'd like to save some money on. And we'll keep that in the back of our mind as we go through this presentation. Cecily, we can see you.
I'm on the iPad, that's why.
Okay. Great, so Emma, if you can go ahead and put us into our groups, please. And what we just want to chat about is, what's a specific cost you'd like to save money on? Welcome back, everybody. Waiting on a couple more. All right, I think we've got everybody back now. Thank you. All right. So thanks everyone for sharing that with each other. Does anyone want to share their specific cost? Just 1 or 2 people?
Electricity savings online was a hot topic in our breakout room, Katie.
Ah, cool. Thanks. That's a good one. Anyone else? We'll take one more.
Mine was a lot of like mindless spending, like little like micro spending, like $10 here, $5 there. And I feel like that's what adds up for me by the end of the month.
Perfect. Thanks, Caitlin. Great. Well, yeah, those are all good things to want to save money on. And using some online tools can definitely help save money with those things that we've talked about, and hopefully everybody else is as well. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to cover some about online shopping. We'll cover money management and learning as opportunities to save money by being online. So some of us here today are volunteers or tech mates, or learners, or you might just have an interest in this. So we've kind of tried to cater this content for everybody, but just keep in mind that this won't teach you everything you need to know about these topics, but the outcomes that we're looking for today is for everyone to have a basic understanding and a few takeaways to give a try about saving money online. So first, let's talk about online shopping. So this is a big one. That's a huge category. So online shopping includes everything from purchasing items from an online retailer like Amazon, and shopping through a store like Bunnings that already has brick and mortar stores. And there's also person-to-person online shopping sites like eBay or Facebook. And now you can even shop for groceries online. So we'll discuss some tips for saving money when you're shopping online. So let's talk about comparison shopping. Taking note of prices before you buy and doing any research before you make a purchase is what comparison shopping is all about. So you probably do this in ways you don't even realize, like keeping an eye on petrol prices around town before filling up. You can also use the internet to comparison shop, and it's a great way to save money by being online. So has anyone taken note of petrol prices on the roads before you actually fill up? Yeah? Cool. So actually, this is something that's been moved online. There's a way to do this through the internet. So New South Wales has a website called Fuel Check that tracks fuel prices at registered petrol stations. It's an online way to shop around town without making the trip or having to remember the prices in the back of your mind. So what I'm going to do now is we're just going to pop over to the internet and we will actually take a look at this website. Everybody see that now? It says Fuel Check at the top.
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
So let's see. I see people's locations. Let's see. Phil, what's your postcode?
2777.
2777. All right. What do you usually purchase for fuel?
Diesel.
Diesel. All right. Me too. So we're going to filter that. So this site, you enter in your postcode, what you're searching for, and then it'll give you all the petrol stations in your area. So we can see there's a fairly good range here of petrol prices in Phil's area. So we could have a total savings of about, 8 cents or so per liter. So this is just a helpful tool so you can see and make sure that you're actually getting the best deal. So if we say, for example, we've got, say, 8 cents a liter of potential savings here. If Phil has a 50-liter tank and he fills up twice a year, that's about $100 in savings in a year. So just by doing a quick search, you can either have an app like this on your phone or go to a site. You can quickly see the savings that can add up here. It also has some helpful information as to where these petrol stations are and what their hours are. So this is just one little way that we can use the internet to comparison shop.
Good. That's worth knowing.
Kind of a funny one, but it's helpful, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes.
So we'll continue talking about comparison shopping online. So comparison shopping online is such a powerful tool of the internet that now there are actually entire companies that exist just to comparison shop for you online. You've probably seen commercials for some of these like iSelect, Finder, and Choosy. So these sites produce quotes from multiple service providers at once. So the example we'll look at today happens to be iSelect. So you can get comparative quotes for anything from auto insurance to electricity accounts, which is the one that Kate mentioned. And these checks can allow you to quickly compare offers from many different companies all at once. So you'll go through a couple of windows that look like this, where first you enter the information about the policy or the service you want. So this one happens to be car insurance. So you'd enter in information such as your plate number, your rego number, what kind of coverage you're looking for. All of these sites, the very last step that you do is enter your contact details. So you do need to give them your contact details. That's part of how they make money. Be mindful that some of these companies are very notorious for very prompt follow-up calls once you've actually interacted with their site and given a number or an email address. Don't be afraid to tell them to stop calling you if they become a nuisance, especially if you're just shopping around and you're not quite ready to pull the trigger on a policy. They can be a bit pushy. I've definitely had my words with them just to say, I'm not ready yet, please stop calling me, and they do respect it. Once you get to the end of the process, you'll get to a page where they actually present you with a whole list of prices for the service that you're looking for across a different range of providers. So the one in the example here, this person could actually save almost $100 a year on their auto insurance. So things like this that renew on a yearly basis, it's always worth taking those 20 or 30 minutes and doing a little check every year just to see if you're getting the best deal and the best coverage that you're looking for. So keep in mind, these sites choose to work closely with certain companies, so they contract with certain ones. If there's a specific provider that you're looking for a quote from, or that you don't see on the list, you can always do a direct search on their own page, or give them a call directly. Any questions about comparison sites like these?
Could you do it on all of them just to see who they're getting commissions from? And you could then look at all of the comparisons, even though it would take a bit longer because you're actually going to all the comparison sites.
That's right. So I was actually just shopping for auto insurance because mine was renewing. And I went through at least Choosy and iSelect because they do partner with different companies. That's exactly right, Maggie. So it's best to do a couple of these if you're going to take that leap and check out comparison sites. There are more specific sites as well that only do specific services. So I think there's some for, I think it's like pet vet bills. There's some that just do utilities. There's some that just do insurance. So you can have a little Google and just see what you can find out there. So let's look at one more way to comparison shop online. Can you raise your hand if you've ever used the map feature on your device? Common ones are Google Map or Apple Maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the more powerful, more basic apps. And what did you usually use this for? Were you using it for navigation? You used it for navigation before?
Yeah, finding a place.
Finding a place? All
Like
right.
in a town, if I had an X-ray to go to in Bathurst, I find it on that map.
That's perfect. That's exactly right. So did you know that you can also use your maps to compare places and do some comparison shopping? So you can see reviews about restaurants and businesses. You can see pictures ahead of time of recreation spots and a lot more. So who's hungry? It's about lunchtime. Let's go find ourselves somewhere to eat. So I'm going to share my screen again. We're going to have a little play on Google Maps together. So anyone want to, where do we want to holiday to? Shall we holiday somewhere? Where's a good destination?
Mudgee?
Mudgee? That sounds good. Are we in the mood for some cheese and wines?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go to Mudgee here. I'm just gonna enter that into my search. And now we've got Mudgee on our map. Got some quick facts if we're looking for places to go. So I'm just gonna scroll in here. I'm gonna go downtown, around Church Street. And so some of these icons that are starting to pop up on the screen here, we've got shopping like Woolworths and Big W. We have pink little icons for hotels. We've got, KFC if we want to be fancy. We have some other restaurants that are popping up here. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit closer and see what we've got. So all these little orange icons coming up with the fork and the knives and the cafes are starting to look like restaurants here. Anyone see one that jumps out at them? We've got a brewing company. We have Japanese, Irish. What's everyone in the mood for lunch?
Irish.
Irish, all right. So Kelly's Irish Pub, thanks Jenny. So if we click on these listings, what we get is a nice picture. Looks like a nice little beer garden and a spot for the kids to play around. So what we're gonna look at here is these little stars. So this says that we have 4.1 stars out of 5 for Kelly's Irish Pub. And this number here, 540, means that 540 people have reviewed this restaurant. That's pretty good. So we can always navigate to it with our directions since this is the maps. But what we're going to talk about today is just a bit more of the details here, such as how we can find out exactly what we can eat there and what people think about it. We can see when it's usually busy. We can see who's posted photos, and we can see what people have said about the food. We can also see a menu. So it looks like people are saying food was amazing, couldn't fault the service. Chicken schnitzel was overcooked, chips were cold, no tomato on the salad. Well, that's a bummer. Meals are large and filling, nice clean dining area, and pleasant staff. So you can go multiple layers in these reviews where you can sort them by the lowest rating, the highest rating, the newest ones. You can get, clicking this person's map here. You can get a lot of information just from other people that have reviewed these items. You can also see things like pricing and what their menu actually says. So these are great ways to just do a bit of comparison shopping before you go to a new place. Or if you have a hankering for a certain food, maybe we're in the mood for Irish pub food, and so we can search that on our phone or our tablet ahead of time to see if we want to try a place out like that. Any questions while I have this open? I know that's kind of a quick review, but any questions about capabilities of these reviews?
Yes, who puts the review, who chooses the reviews? Is it the restaurant itself, or, I mean, how authentic are they? You're not likely to put too many bad ones on.
That's right. So that's one of the interesting things about, say, Google Maps and things, is you or I could put a review in for any of these restaurants. So once you're logged into, say, a Google account or using your Gmail in this case, you'll be prompted, if you have location services on your phone or tablet, to say, oh, it looks like you were at Kelly's Irish Pub. Would you like to leave a review? Or you can always go in here and click write a review and add your own review. So it's everyday people like you or I. So I'm not sure if Apple has a similar thing, but at least for Google, they have almost set it up kind of like a bit of a game. So people get points as they review more places. So it's a bit of an incentive to leave a review every time you go somewhere. Some restaurants have capabilities on specific websites like I know Yelp or say TripAdvisor, which is also for reviews, but more pointed just about reviews, where they can actually purchase a plan and monitor their reviews and take off bad ones or write replies to them and things like that. So Google, I'm not sure if they can pay to do that, but it is just everyday people that are doing these reviews. It's not restaurant connoisseurs that are giving them ratings and things like that.
Okay.
Perfect. Anyone else? Great, so we'll head back to our slideshow and keep going. So thank you for that. So just to review about comparison shopping. So comparison shopping online allows you to quickly find new businesses without traveling to them. Lots of sites actually do the comparisons for you, so you can find the best price and the product that suits your needs. And you can access lots of people's reviews to gain more information about their experiences before you actually go somewhere. So next we're going to talk about grocery shopping online. So grocery shopping online is something that's relatively new. Kohl's and Woolies have their own portals for online shopping. It's a great tool to use, especially during COVID, to keep you out of the store and to keep you safe. So today we'll just have a quick overview of what the Kohl's online shopping portal looks like. So it's its own website, something that you can access through a tablet or a laptop or whatever device you're using. First, you create a login and a password, and then you select the store that you usually shop at, and that makes sure that the stock availability is accurate. So you're given basically a library of all of the products that are in this store. So at the top of the page, there's a little search bar, which you would use just like your browser or Google search bar, and you type in what kind of food you're looking for. Alternatively, they also have a category-based menu on the left that kind of shops more by aisle or by section. So in this example, we just search for tuna fish. And they'll come up with a bunch of different items that they're selling. And then you can also check, they highlight what's on special, if you're getting a good deal. Something you can also do here is filter the results that they're showing you. So this is a great way to save money because you can select searching by lowest unit price. You can search by what's on special. You can search by a brand name that you already know and love. So this is something that actually makes it a bit easier for me, I find, to find the lowest price versus staring at the shelf and looking at 16 different cans of tuna and trying to figure out which one's the best deal. If you search by lowest unit price, then you know you're getting the right deal just through online shopping. So once you've selected your item, just like any other online shopping site, you add it to your trolley. Once you've added everything to your trolley, you go ahead and check out. And one of the nice things about these sites is every time you purchase an item through it, it remembers it for next time. So there's a little section that says bought before, And if you usually get mostly the same things, your next shop becomes a lot quicker and easier because you don't have to search for all these new items every time. So next you would select a pickup window, or if you're doing delivery, you can select that. That usually comes at a cost. They also tell you that you can option to substitute items if they run out of something. They'll always charge you a lesser price if they had to make a substitute. It also tells you that you can modify your order up to a certain number of hours before your pickup slot. So if you think you forgot something, or you want to add something, you can go back and modify your order. You do pay as part of this checkout. So if you're doing just click and collect from Kohl's, there's no added fee for actually doing this, but you do pay for your groceries up front, basically on your credit card, which is you put in the information for it. And then they just do an adjustment when you actually make the purchase and collect the goods, because there'd always be a little bit of difference from produce weights or if they had to make a substitution. So online shopping is a really good way to save time and money on your groceries. For me, I find that it helps me stick to a list. So that means that I have to plan ahead a bit more of what I'm actually going to make, and I can parse down what my total is. You can also add up your total as you're going, so you see exactly how much you're going to be paying. Whereas if you're in the store, you don't really know how much you're spending until you're already at the checkout and it's too late. So this also does remove the temptation, at least I found, because I'm totally guilty. If you're browsing aisles when you're hungry, you always come home with more things than you need. So if you're online shopping, you can kind of be more strict and stick to a list and make sure that you're only getting the things that you actually want. Any questions about online grocery shopping?
So to go into, say, Kohl's initially, you just Google Kohl's online shopping?
That's correct. Yep, exactly. And they have their own website for it, Jenny. Yep.
Okay.
And I can tell you the Kohl's and Lithgow is pretty good with their click and collect. They get it mostly right anyway.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Anyone else? Great. So we'll talk next about person-to-person shopping online. So person-to-person shopping online is a new version of classified ads, say in a newspaper. So individuals submit a posting of an item with information like the price or description, condition, and pictures. Potential buyers find the listing on a host platform like eBay or Gumtree. And there are also specialized sites for things such as farm equipment or animal feed, vehicles, collectibles, you name it. There's usually a site for it, so you can find it on Google. So how it works, again, seller creates a listing. So say this gentleman wants to sell some tools. The buyer would search for what they're looking for, find the item online, and contact the seller. The buyer and seller would then meet in person if it's a local swap, or a buyer would make a purchase online and the seller can arrange for shipping. So some advantages of doing this online: still cheaper than new. Bartering, even when you're doing this online, is still very much acceptable and expected. You can find items that might not be available in the shops anymore. You can reach buyers near and far. So you get more opportunities than if you were just, say, checking out garage sales locally. Local items can be picked up, or sites like eBay can allow them to be shipped. And as a seller, you can get money for your used items if you make a listing. Some things just to keep in mind with this: you do have to take someone's word for an item's condition or origin before you actually see it. It's always recommended to meet someone in a public place for a local pickup if possible. So say a parking lot of McDonald's or something like that. And you also need to be aware of reliability. So you want to make sure you're checking the source before you purchase. So what we'll do is we'll just pop over real quick to Gumtree, which is one of the biggest sites for buy, swapping, and selling between people. This is what the Gumtree site looks like. Anyone in the market for, I don't know, a used car or an antique or a piece of furniture, barbecue, anything like that? Not really? All right, let's see, what do we want to shop for today? Let's shop for a jet ski. That sounds kind of fun. So if we shop for a jet ski, we'll leave it as Penrith. You can shop by postcode, and we'll put in 20 Ks. Let's see what we find. So anything in pink here is an ad, so we're just going to scroll past that. We can ignore those. So here's the most recent listing. So all of these are personal listings that someone's posted. It's a jet ski for sale in Blacktown. It's a little description of it, how many hours it's had on it, why they're selling it maybe. So you can click into any of these postings, find some more pictures, get some information about the item, see how old it is. And then Gumtree sets this up so that you can just message this person directly through Gumtree, or they may have a phone number you can call. So then you can engage with that seller. You can ask to, ask more questions about it or ask for more pictures. You can arrange to view it, you can arrange to purchase it and be on your way. So Gumtree and these person-to-person sales is just a cool way to expand the market a bit more. So especially if you're living in a small town or if you've got access to other towns you don't usually shop in, person-to-person shopping online is a great way to learn more about that. Any questions on this?
So if I'm trying to get rid of some furniture, I don't drive, I don't have a car. So I'm really dependent on the people coming to my place, aren't they? And knowing where I live and everything.
Right, so you might be dependent on that. If it's a small enough item, if you wanted to meet just somewhere in town or something like that, if you could carry it with you, that would be fine. Or if you absolutely have to have a meeting at your home, it would just be advisable to have somebody else there with you, just to be safe.
Yep, okay.
Great, so that's just a quick summation of person-to-person shopping online. So online shopping, just to recap, saves time and travel finding items in stores. Comparison shopping online first will always help you get the best deal. And person-to-person online shopping can save you money or help you make money as a seller. So next we're just going to talk a little bit about online money management. So this is a big one. This is basically online banking. So Emma, I think we're going to skip over the breakout here just because we're running a little bit late on time. But just want to, while we're all together, anyone want to share their thoughts on online banking? Does anyone already bank online a little bit?
I love doing online banking.
Okay.
It means I don't have to do anything. Like, it's all there in front of me. I've got an insight as to what's in whatever accounts, what I'm saving. So it totally makes me in control of it.
That's great to hear, Maggie. Thanks for sharing that. Anyone feel a bit intimidated by online banking or feel like it's not their cup of tea? I know I had some reservation before I did it.
I did it before for a while and I thought it was excellent. Now I've forgotten how to do it and thinking, oh, is it worth it again?
Fair enough, fair enough. Great, so just to talk a bit about online banking, just to explain some of the advantages. So if you think back in your head, what did you buy yesterday? Is it a cup of coffee? Did you pay a bill? What about the most expensive purchase you made last week? Was it still a cup of coffee? Did you buy a pair of shoes? How easily can you remember? So one of the advantages of online banking is you can view all of these things right at the tip of your fingers, exactly like Maggie said. So you don't need to wait to see a monthly statement to see what your purchases have been. So online money management, or online banking, you can access your bank accounts online to help you track your spending more closely and help you plan for budgeting and saving. You can avoid lines at the bank with online balance checks, money transfers, payments, and online help, which is especially the case in COVID. I know some of the branches around us are doing shorter hours because they're discouraging people from coming into the shop. So online banking can help with that. It also helps with some security around your account. So it's a little bit of a counterintuitive. I know some people are a little bit afraid of the security around online banking, but I find that it helps me catch any weird purchases sooner. So if you see a purchase that you think, oh, I don't remember doing that, you can flag it sooner. There are also tutorials online through your bank. I know before COVID, Commonwealth Bank was doing a few within their branch, but I'm sure a lot of that's online now. So this is what an online banking portal might look like. Something where you can see your account information, including the name, the balance, and any transactions you've done recently. So you can also make online payments with online banking. So that could be to another business, it could be council rates, it could be person to person. And some billers do give discounts for paying online, so it's something to keep in mind, especially things like insurance or utilities may give a discount for paying online. Most of the online banking portals will also have tools to help you track your spending and also categorize it. So this example in NAB will take your purchases, and just based on the name of the transaction and where it was from, they'll automatically put it into categories for you so you can see where your spending is. So Caitlin, like you said, the thing that you want to save on is some of those little purchases. A tool like this will probably help you to see how much you're actually spending on those incidental purchases. So, you know, a cup of coffee here or a juice there. It can really actually see the numbers by the month and make decisions around how you want to adjust your spending. So the big thing with online banking is security. So this is what stops some people from trying it out, just because they're hesitant about putting their information out there or making sure that it's secure. So online banking always requires a login with a password. You should change your password regularly, and you shouldn't use the same password for every online account. Banks will never send you links to click on through an SMS or an email. That's a big one. So scams are getting very clever now, where they'll say, you know, oh, we saw something fraudulent in your account, click this link to rectify it or something. You never want to click a link that your bank claims to send you. You should only ever call your bank through the number that you see either on the back of your cards or at the bottom of your statement, never a number that they actually send to you. And you should always report any possible scams. When in doubt, just call your bank. I actually had one that was really bizarre that came through from NAB saying that they had detected fraudulent activity and to call this number, and it looked really fishy to me, so I just called them directly and said, I think this is a scam. They had no record of sending that message to me. So if you get an errant message, it's always just a good idea to pick up the phone to the number that you know the bank is actually at and make sure everything is okay. Any questions about online banking or online banking security? Emma.
Hi, Katie. I just want to say a huge thank you to Maggie. Maggie's been sharing some useful tips as we go through. And first of all, Maggie said that there's a very useful site called energymadeeasy.gov.au if you want to compare your electricity. And Maggie's just also shared another site called moneysmart.gov.au. And that's that one in particular can help you keep control of your money as well.
That's awesome. Thank you for those resources, Maggie. That's great. We'll have to include those in the follow-up from this workshop. Great. So the next little section that we're going to cover, the last topic that we'll cover today, is online learning. So what I mean by that, online learning, there's a wealth of knowledge available online in the form of tutorials, videos, formal classes, webinars, and lots more. You can learn about general subjects or get help with specific projects. You can save money by attempting a DIY project or trying out a new hobby or skill before you actually pay for courses. So here's some examples of what online learning could look like. First, we have videos. So even just sites like YouTube, there's a wealth of information. There's a lot of weird stuff on there, but you can also find some good stuff, such as, I don't know, maybe you want to repaint a room in your house, but you're not really confident how to do it on your own. If you do a search, you can find a video about certain techniques to use or certain tools to use. And that might help you save some money before, you know, going out and buying the equipment that you know that you actually need. You can online learn in the form of learning how to cook or find recipes. So you can recreate your favorite takeaway meal at home and save some money. You can also learn soft skills online. So you can develop yourself professionally or personally. So sites such as LinkedIn has a great library of professional development, webinars and workshops that you can use to build your skills without paying anything for it. So there's also formal courses online, and a plethora of these are actually available for free. And because of COVID, a lot of these have been pushed online. A lot of university courses are also offered online for a lower reduced cost or free cost now. And according to Forbes, these are the 7 best websites for free online education. These are more formal courses, so something if you really wanted to develop if you have an interest that you wanted to pursue or a certification that you wanted to pursue, these are some good resources. It's also good just for general knowledge, you know, things that you just want to learn about, like TEDx or TED Exchange. They have really good TED Talks on there. You can just learn about a new subject and it's all for free.
It's recovery.
So again, you can find instructional videos, step-by-step written instructions. You can find manuals for things, so car manuals, or I know my bread machine didn't come with a manual, so I looked that one up online. You can find exercise videos, textbooks, full courses, language applications, which I think Jan has used a bit, and lots more online as well. So you always do want to be mindful of your sources, as always, and you don't want to take on any DIY projects that are dangerous or require a licensed professional. Any questions on online learning or where to find some of these resources?
I've been doing it with Western Sydney Recovery College, mental health courses. They're all free and they're terrific. They've been doing them on Zoom and anyone can do them. It's interested in mental health.
That's great, Jenny. Thanks for sharing that resource. That's really cool. Anyone else? Great. So we'll just wrap it up here and just review again. So the big categories of ways to save by being online. We talked about online shopping, so the powerful tools of comparison shopping, how to save money on your groceries by shopping for them online, and also how to stay out of the stores, and how to shop person to person online, and to use some of those sites to either sell off some things you don't need anymore or find some new items for yourself. We talked about money management and online banking, how you can manage your accounts, make payments, and also track your spending more closely. We talked a bit about learning as well. So how to find more DIY information, hobby videos, tutorials, and courses. I'll just open up for questions at this point. Does anyone have any questions about what we learned today, or before we move on to the next topic?
It would be great if anyone has resources to go in the chat line like I've been doing to be able to share that with each other, because I think that broadens our scope for doing this sort of thing together.
Thank you, Maggie. That's awesome. And I'll make sure that we do compile those resources for everyone as well. So let's just go back. We're going to have a quick breakout group again. We're going to break back into groups of 3 and just discuss what did you learn that you think can help you save on that specific cost that we talked about at the beginning. So Emma, can you break us back up, please? Welcome back. So just if anyone wants to go through these details and these topics in more detail, which again, we just kind of grazed over them today just to get a little taste. So we are offering remote help via phone or Zoom from our tech mates. So Phil is one of them. And this presentation will be available online after this. So we can send you the info with that and also the resources that we've been compiling. So again, thank you for being here today. And if there's any topics you'd like to know more about that we didn't cover today, it'd be great if you can just drop them into the chat, and I'll make sure that we include some resources on that for our follow-up. Were there any other questions or comments before we depart?
No, I'd like to say thanks. It's been terrific help, and I've got great help from Leap on the online each week from my tutor in Melbourne. So thanks for that service.
Phil's got a question, Katie.
Yes, Phil.
Yeah, Katie, just two comments I'd add to. Talk about online shopping, particularly Coles. Coles are about to revamp their online shopping website. They've just announced it. So they'll be abandoning their paper catalogs. And
wow.
They'll only be going with e-catalogs, and they'll be simplifying their site so you can shop directly from their online catalog. They'll be announcing that probably tomorrow or the day afterwards.
Oh, really?
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah. The other point I'd make is going on online banking. During COVID, we were encouraged to use credit cards. There is a very useful app that you can put on your phone called Wallet, and where you can actually use your phone to tap instead of your credit card. One of the main advantages of using that is I find that with the credit card, quite often when you visit your banking statement online, sometimes it's hard to reconcile the banking statement because a lot of companies don't trade, or their trading name is different to the name that they have on their shop front. Whereas when you use your phone actually records the transaction as well, so you can actually then compare your phone with your online statement.
That's a
That-
really good point, Phil. No, thank you for that. That's,
Yeah, and that, I don't know about Android systems, but on iOS, on Apple, that app is called Wallet. And it's actually a little bit more secure than your credit card, because if you drop your credit card and someone picks it up, they can use it. Whereas with Wallet, it has to use facial recognition or your fingerprint before you can complete a transaction. So it's a little bit more secure, has another level of security.
That's an awesome tip. Thank you, Phil. Yeah, every store you see now encourages you to pay by card. So that's a good one. I personally haven't used it before, but I know a lot of people that do and that really like it. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Jan, were you going to talk? Were you going to say something?
No, I've had my turn.
I just wanted to add that I save like $40 online every time I buy my dog's pet food. And it's the last thing you think of, but this petcircle.com.au, it's so easy, and they deliver it to your door, and they're so responsive, reliable, and it does require a credit card, but it's so cheap compared to buying it in a shop, and I don't have to drive there and pick it up and get it home and lift it heavily from the car. And yeah, so anyway, that's my tip for the day.
Thank you very much. Anyone else have a tip they want to share before we go? Great.
Grizz, where are you coming from while we got you here?
I'm sorry, did you say me, Grace?
Yeah, I can see Grizz there, so I don't know.
I'm from Western Sydney.
Oh, okay. And do you have a tech mate with you? Do you have a tech mate also supporting you?
No, I've only just joined today, and I really don't know what I'm doing. I prefer to listen and find information out because I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, well, we can help you if you decide you need some help one-on-one. We can give you someone like Jenny said that is helping her, so we can get someone to help you too. And Jan here's got someone helping her in Bathurst, and I don't know about you, Maggie. So how did you find out about us? This workshop, Chris?
I'm trying to think now. It was through the local group, a church group that I've been to some course on.
Okay.
And I can't remember what happened. I think they rang me and said about it because I said I didn't know how to use a computer properly. I can do certain things, but not enough, Well,
you're here.
I'm
That's the
amazed
start.
at how this little cursor's going around the screen, and I'm not doing anything. That baffles me. How are you doing it?
Phil's a tech mate.
Anyway,
thanks, Katie and Emma. It was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for all your help. Anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. All right, we'll log off then and be safe and be well, everybody.